Hello, my name is Devin with HDpiano.com, and in today's lesson, I'll be showing you guys how to play Moves Like Jagger, a classic from Maroon 5. Want to know what we'll be learning in this lesson? Well, it goes like this. Alright, so we'll be getting through about that much in this video. That's the intro. We could call that the main riff, the kind of whistle theme. But we'll be finishing off the rest of the tune, including the melody version, what we're learning here, as well as some accompaniment tips over at HDpiano.com. So I hope you can join me there after this. Now, before I dive in, got a quick question. This song has two chords the entire time, B minor and E minor. And I'm curious if you can name any other songs that have only two chords. Comment below. All right, let's dive in. So, B minor and E minor. There's a lot you can do with those two chords, and we'll talk about all sorts of ways that we can interpret this song as we kind of progress through this lesson. But first things first, I just want to start you off with that whistle melody. So that is a 5-note melody. It's using these 5 notes: B, D, E, F sharp, and A. And that's kind of like the defining scale of the entire melody, and that is called the B minor pentatonic scale. It's the same as the D major pentatonic scale, just starting on B, because B is the relative minor. All right, so those 5 notes are going to inform so much of the melody. So it's important that you just have, a rough understanding of what those notes are so that you can look at the keyboard and be like, oh yeah, it's probably one of these, okay? So those are the 5 notes of the whistle melody, and we have B, D, E, and then we jump up to B and come down on A, F sharp, E, D, D, and then F sharp, B. And you'll notice I did a little grace note into the F sharp, just a quick E leading into that F sharp and back down. Let's take it down the octave for now. So the rhythm of that is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It happens twice. And then it's going to happen again, but over the E minor chord. And then we're going to do it one more time over E minor. But we'll bring it down the octave for that. So, you've got that whistle melody, pretty iconic, and it's just crazy to think that it just comes from one of the most simple scales that we have, this incredibly memorable melody, from very humble beginnings, simple origins. So, we have this kind of like driving guitar thing happening throughout the whole recording, and it's kind of like this extended pop clave. So the first way we're going to use it is by playing an F sharp, A, B, and D. And middle C is here, by the way. And the rhythm of this is right? So it's got this kind of like lilting feel. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 Now the rhythm of that is 16th notes, but grouped into groups of 3. And this is a very common pop rhythm, and I call it the pop clave. But this is kind of an extended version where we just go through the whole measure. So 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So see if you can play that along with me. Again, F sharp, A, B, and D. This is a B minor 7 chord. We would hear B in the bass. So, it's important that you can feel that global 4, that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. But still play this kind of, syncopated rhythm that works against that core, 4 feeling. So it's a little tough. It's a little syncopated, but hopefully you can just, loop this video, play along as much as you need to. And eventually, it should just kind of feel like second nature. And luckily, the melody is so simple that, rhythmically simple, that we can just learn each hand separately, so focus on each hand, and then when you're ready to put them together, you can play along with me. So let's start nice and slow. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Alright, so it's the same 2 measures repeated. And then we're going to switch to E minor 7. So this is G, B, D, and E. Now, you can sneak your thumb onto these 2 notes, or you could play it with a single finger for each note like this. And the same right hand part will apply. And then to prepare for the verse melody, we're going to come down the octave with the right hand. And we're going to do this thing that's definitely not on the record, but I added it in there just to, create a nice smooth transition. We have G and E in the left, and then the same melody in the right. And then we walk down to F sharp and D in the left. And then we land on E, B, and E in the right. That's... Alright, so that's the whole intro at a nice, slow tempo. Let's hit that one more time. Real slow. 3, 4. Again. And switch to E minor 7. Now we're going to come down. And that's how the verse starts. So you'll notice that we have the same 3 initial rhythms in the left hand, but then we just stop on and hold that third one. So duck, 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 3 and 4 and duck. And we're just doing the root and the 5th. That's B and F sharp. And the melody just walks up kind of like the B minor scale. B, C sharp, D, and then we hit D and F sharp. F sharp, F sharp, D and F sharp, C sharp and E. And again, da 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 da, boom, 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 boom. All right, so we're gonna get through that much. Like I said, I guess we're gonna stop there. We've gotten through that much. So I'll go ahead and play that one more time from the intro, to a couple measures into the verse at a slightly faster tempo. So if you've practiced along at this point, you can kind of re-up here a little bit. So let's try it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so we're going to stop there. I just real quick want to talk about these 2 chords, right? It's only 2 chords. And so what's going on here? Why are these the notes from B minor 7? Well, if we take a B minor triad, B, D, and F sharp, right? You've seen a triad before, like heart and soul, right? Just taking triads, it's that shape where you're always skipping a note. So a minor triad is kind of the same idea. In the B minor scale, we're skipping every other note, and we get B, D, and F sharp. Now, if we were to kind of like go one step further and go beyond a triad, we would get a 7th chord. So again, we've skipped a G to give us an A, the dominant 7th, or the flat 7, just the 7th of a B minor chord, right? So we get 1, 3, 5, 7. And then the way we arrived, and you'll notice that B, D, F sharp, A, well, we had the same thing. B, D, F sharp, A. Just revoiced. That's because it's an inversion where we took the B up an octave, and then we take this bottom note up the octave. That's the second inversion of B minor 7, and that gives us this shape. And then we do the same for E minor 7. We get a 7th chord, and we just invert it once this time, and we put the E on top. and that's how we get this chord. So then we're just going between these two chords, and it's a lot easier on the hands rather than jumping from here to here. That's a little behind the scenes insight into what's going on harmonically. And if you know those chords and some inversions, I'm just playing around on these two chords, and I'm not sticking strictly to the minor pentatonic scale, but I am sticking strictly to the B natural minor scale, and just using those two chords. And obviously you can see that there's so much you can do with just 7 notes, right? If you just know your chords. Right, so this is my spiel. I've got a series on scales and chords coming out in the near future. It might not be out by the time this is out, but I encourage all of my students to learn the basic fundamental scales and chords, because it can take you so far on just a little bit of information can go very far when it comes to learning popular music. All right, so I'll play you guys out one more time, maybe at the recorded tempo, and then we'll see you over at hdpiano.com for the rest. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, guys, great work. This has been Devin with HDpiano.com. While I have you here, please find us on social media and like and subscribe here on YouTube, and stick around for another tutorial. We got one coming every day. We'll talk to you soon.